Once we start seeing games happen, do you think it'll be noticeable that maybe some of the younger guys haven't had a chance to prepare the same way that they would have if it was normal camp? Like to the average
Absolutely.
fan? Like you think we'll see that on the field?
Absolutely. I've talked to a couple guys who are on teams and asking about their training camp and stuff, and they all feel like they've been very, like walkthroughs and stuff are very crisp. Now, obviously, when you go from a walkthrough to more up tempo, I would be curious to how they're playing now with helmets on. And then when you get in pads, it'll be interesting because when shit's going fast, motions are happening fast, the cadence and people are yelling a little louder around you in pads and everything else, and you're not just in a walkthrough, kind of leaning this way and be like, oh, yep, I'm going there, and the coach is like, hey, great job, great job. You got to be able to make fast decisions, but I do think like you could see some sloppier ball being played early on, but that's just because there hasn't been an off season. Now on the flip side, if teams are executing and playing well, I know the players are going to want to come back and be like, hey, we executed and played well without the whole off season thing going on. So conversations could be fun next year for guys. And I do think that's something that could potentially play in the favor, like a free agent veteran like myself. Because again, there's not a whole lot of guys that you lean on that are like, hey, you plug and play. Like we need you to fly in and play this week type of thing. And I got to do that with the Saints. Unfortunately, got that little dumbass pussy ankle injury there that they had to injury settle with me and cut me. That fucking sucked. But I also got to do with the Raiders. And a lot of, I always see a lot of fans, a lot of the Raider Nation out there asking like, do I want to come back and play? Like abso-fucking-lutely, I want to play for the Raiders. Time will tell with everything. But that's my update. Is there anything else?
I was going to ask you, what about with no fans? Like how much do fans play? Like I know obviously for different guys it's different. Like I'm sure some guys play off of the fans being there and everything. But like for you personally, how much do fans play into your game, and how weird would it be to play in an empty stadium?
It's a good question. I feel like guys will have a lot of different stances on it because you take out the fan element. Number one, you're going to take out a lot of like energy that you can feed off of, a lot of good momentum, like when plays happen for you, especially as a home team or something. It'll be interesting to see how they do all the crowd noise and everything. So it takes away the element of like the energy and just feeling people around you. Like Darren Bates is like an entertainer when he's on the field. Like Taylor feeds off energy of other people. Jalen Ramsey, like these are guys, George Kittle, guys I'm thinking about that we've had on the bus that kind of feed off that energy of fans. But DB, he'd always be somebody that gets on the bench and stuff and is waving the towel, getting everybody hyped, talking shit. But you can kind of feed off the fans and you feel that energy during a game. Now, on the flip side, the benefit of not having fans is I feel like guys will be able to lock in and concentrate a little more. Like the moment might not get too big for them, especially young guys or guys that aren't as confident. And I don't know who those guys are. That's for their own self to answer. But like for myself, just landing and going somewhere, all those jitters and everything you might have would be more so because you're going and performing on a huge stage in front of thousands of people. And you haven't really knocked a whole lot of rust off. Like for me going to the Raiders, now it worked out well and I played well. But when you're out there and feeling it and everything, so there's always there's a voice at times that you're just like, which you got to get that voice out of your fucking head. But it talks about, you're on a stage, don't mess up, shit like that. Those guys who think that way, I think young guys and like guys who are inexperienced, I think that might help them a little more because they can concentrate and play the game of football. Because it'll kind of feel like, I don't want to say scrimmage because I don't want to minimize what the game's going to be like, but in a way it's going to be like a fucking scrimmage with just crowd noise. You know the difference between, teams play crowd noise throughout the week. When you're an away team going into a week, when the offense is out there during practice, they're shuffling in crowd noise the whole time, turning it up loud, music's playing loud. Some might do actual crowd noise. So guys are used to having crowd noise. So you know the difference. You know what I mean? Like, like it's just loud for no fucking reason out here right now. Like there's not a shitload of people watching. But when you go out there on a Saturday and it's just a regular practice and you're kind of scrimmaging, doing 1s versus 2s, 1 versus 1s, and like say Titans, for instance, and you got like maybe 5,000 people out there, you feel it a little more because people are watching you. So I feel like that's going to be the difference of having crowd noise and not.
And I'm sure the crowd noise is not yelling targeted things at comp. Like there's no recording like you suck comp.
Yeah, no doubt.